I'm gonna roll up. Oh, this is really a bit of an angle. Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute. It's been a few days longer than I'd like just because I've had a pretty busy week. I've been looking for a new apartment and I got my COVID vaccine, my first one. So that was very exciting, but I am back. I am here with a March TBR video. Now I was a little wary about doing a TBR video because I'm a very big mood reader. So even if I have 5 books here that I do want to read this month, but the odds that I actually read these books are slim. Yeah, so I think it's very unlikely that I read all 5 of these. It's probably unlikely that I read any of them. But this is the goal. These 5 are a goal for this month. And then you guys can let me know how likely it was once I do a March wrap up. Getting in with the first one, no one is surprised because I'm on a Brandon Sanderson roll, is Elantris by, of course, Brandon Sanderson. This is one of the only main Cosmere books of his that I have not read. This was his first book that he ever published, which a lot of people definitely like this book because, of course, Brandon's always been a talent, but he's definitely grown since then, so a lot of people are just like, this isn't the best of his, but I'm sure I'm still going to love it. So Elantris is about a capital city of Erelon. It was a home to people transformed into magic-using demigods by the Shroud. But then the magic failed. Elantris started to rot and its inhabitants became powerless wrecks. In the new capital K, close enough to Elantris to remind everyone what they have lost, a princess arrives. Serene was to marry, unite Teod and Erelon against religious imperialists, but Raudin, her husband-to-be, is dead. Determined to fight for Teod and Erelon's freedom, Serene clashes with the high priest Hrathen. But there are still secrets in Elantris. The dead and the ruined may yet have a role to play in this new world, because magic still lives. I'm so excited. Definitely going to get to this one ASAP. Alright, number 2 is another high fantasy from a series that I'm very excited about. This is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. I loved the first one and then I just, per usual, just didn't finish the rest of the series. If you've seen my other videos, you know this is very on brand for me to love a series and then not continue with it. I'm not great at coming up with my own summaries for books, especially ones I haven't read yet, so I'm just going to continue to read the inner flap of these books. This is what you must remember. The ending of one story is just the beginning of another. This has all happened before, after all. People die, old orders pass, new societies are born. When we say the world has ended, it's usually a lie, because the planet is just fine. But this is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends, for the last time. This is the first one in the series, the 5th season, which is where that little tidbit is from. But I love this one so much, so I cannot wait to get to the sequel. Now this book is a new purchase for me. I bought it a few weeks ago and I'm very excited about reading it. I've heard nothing but great things all over BookTube. It's a bit of a popular read right now, and it is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. From my understanding, this book follows around a woman who visits the Midnight Library, where every book that she takes off the shelf is another version of her life had she made different choices or gone down a different path, and she gets to kind of see or experience all of these different choices and hopefully realize that her life that she lived was the right one. I hope there's a happy ending. I hope that's what she comes to. If she just regrets all of her life choices, that's going to be very depressing, but I've heard really good things about this. I'm very excited about it. I think my mom read it. Or my mom owned it, because I remember I told her that I bought it and she was like, oh yeah, I know all about that. All right, number 4. This one I mentioned in my own TBR video that I was meaning to read in February, but didn't get to, and so now we're putting it on to March, which is The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. So Michelle Alexander is a law professor at Ohio State University. This is a nonfiction book about the criminal justice system in America and how the war on drugs and the school to prison pipeline is inherently racist, and how the criminal justice system functions as a contemporary system of racial control. It's also the winner of the NAACP Image Award. So I'm definitely very excited to get to this one. I have a lot of friends who have read this one and highly recommend it. And I will let you know once I read it what I think, but I'm sure it'll be very informative. And the last book that I definitely want to read in March is Akin by Emma Donoghue. Now, Emma Donoghue wrote Room, which was turned into a movie with Brie Larson. I think I mentioned that in another video. I did not read Room, but I did like the movie. And this book tells the story of an old man who is a retired college professor here in New York City, but who was born and raised in the south of France. And so he decides to go back to the south of France. But before his trip, he finds out that his great nephew, who he's never met, has been orphaned and needs a family member to take care of him. So he becomes responsible for this little boy and takes him on his trip to France with him, and they bond. I feel like all of these are just kind of recapping things that I made in my own TBR video, but I'm just narrowing down to the 5 books that I want to read immediately. But you can go watch that video of all of the books on this crazy shelf that I need to read. But this one just seems really sweet. It just seems like a nice, heartwarming father-son, grandpa kind of vibes. And the south of France sounds really lovely as well. So I'm definitely excited to read this one. And what a cute cover. I love a pretty cover. So yeah, those are the 5 books that I definitely want to read in the month of March. Now again, I'm a mood reader, so I might decide to read completely different books and not be in the mood to read any of these. I'm also pretty busy in March. I'm going to be moving and there's just a lot of stuff going on, so I may not read as much as I normally would like to. So maybe even if I do feel like reading these ones, I might not read all of them. We'll see. You guys will know as soon as I do. I'll definitely make a wrap up of what I do read and hopefully reviews of all of these books. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will definitely be getting more videos out there promptly, hopefully twice a week. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.